Hello, this is Rodney VanAlstine with Living Well on Half an Acre at Shepherd's Path Farms, and we got us a canner load of beets. We're canning beets today, and this particular canner we got from Walmart. It's a 16 quart pressure cooker canner, and they cost about $60 or so, $65 anymore. But with this canner, you got a mark inside that has your water level, how much water to put in. Alright, and you got to line up your arrows when you're putting it on there. You got to line up the arrows, and it falls right down in place, and then it slides right over. Alright.
But before we put the jars in, the water had been warmed prior to putting the jars in. So make sure your water is nice and hot, so that when you're putting your jars in, everything's already pretty much heated up, and then you can go on ahead and set your stove at high.
And then once it gets going, you don't set your timer. With beets, it's pints at 30 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure at our elevation. Elevations, pressure changes at different elevations or whatever. So it's 30 minutes. You boil your pressure cook your beets at for 30 minutes with pints. And after it starts boiling, this thing will start spitting. And once that thing starts spitting and this here pressure valve here pops up, I set my stove at 8 on number 8, and it will continue, but we just use the high to get it started.
Once it starts boiling inside, and the pressure valve goes up, and the rocker starts rocking. For our stove, 8 keeps the rocking movement of the pressure. What is it? Pressure gauge. The pressure gauge will keep rocking at number 8 on our stove. You might have to kind of adjust it and work it to the way your stove will continue to have it rocking. If you get the pressure too low, it will not rock. And in order to can the jars correctly, you have to keep this in motion. So you'll pretty much learn the way your stove works with your canner. And so once that is done, once it starts rocking, you set your timer for 30 minutes, and once your timer goes off, then you can go on ahead and shut your stove off, and we'll show that, and then release the pressure.
So once this thing starts rocking, that's when we start the time for our 30-minute period. And you want that to be rocking for a total 30 minutes, and that brings your pressure to, it keeps your pressure at 10 pounds, and it keeps your temperature at 240 degrees, and you need your beets got to be canned at 240 degrees for 30 minutes total.
And also, beets are not a high acidic food. You cannot can your beets in a water canner like you would tomatoes that are high acid foods. So most non-acid foods like corn, string beans, beets, carrots has to be placed into a pressure canner. But high acidic foods, if you're making canned pickles, stewed tomatoes, spaghetti sauce, any type of salsa, you can readily can it in a water bath canner. It's not pressurized.
So when we get where the timer's done and this is done canning, and when we start releasing the pressure and getting ready to open it up, we'll come back and show you another video.
But we'll wait until, we'll come back to show you once the pressure has built up in the canner and the valve starts rocking and we set it to 8, then you'll have a relative idea of what you're supposed to be looking for.
Have a blessed day. This is Rodney VanAlstine on Shepherd's Path Farm, living well on half an acre.